freezing, the first day of the season. Yeah, when it comes to retrieving, old Duke's on his game. A John boat, a couple of mojos. Shoot, they gon' know that we don't play. Swampy feeling, some duck blind healing. High ball calling them old green heads back home. Keep your heads bowed, it's gonna get real loud when that 12 gauge choir sings out a holy song. Well, somebody say amen. Let's give 'em black water baptism.
Welcome to the Simmons Sporting Goods All Things Hunting Podcast, brought to you by Realtree Outdoors, Browning Firearms, and Browning Ammo. Here's your hosts, Caleb Wallace, Cole Barthel, and Kyle Bearfield.
Y'all more than welcome to blow anything in there. If you want to try something, just let me know. Hand me that and watch this.
Where's Cole? He is burying duck blinds. Oh, he ain't gonna make it.
I just came from there. Oh, yeah.
There's 4 trees on the whole 20,000 acres.
Yeah, literally, it's...
There actually is a block of woods
There he is,
right dead
Chris.
in the middle of that thing.
It's you. Huh? It's 3 call guys. What's the 3 call guys? Pretty good. That's really good. It's supposed to be 3 call guys.
That sounds good.
Yeah, I do. Said that one, $99.99 on that one right there.
Huh?
That's a Delaware, and I had a guy run over one with a 3/4 ton truck, put some little dents in it where the rocks went in it, and that was it. It's a tough call.
Guys, welcome back to the Simmons Sporting Goods All Things Hunting Podcast, episode number 10. We're missing Cole today. Kyle left him out in the 110-degree heat.
Yeah, we may be going on a recovery mission later.
Yeah. He maybe fell out there, but we got some special guests today. We got Rusty Creasey with Coca Cola Calls and Josh Beckham from Bandit and Devin Singleton. I don't know why we keep inviting Devin back, but he's a good whipping post. That's why we keep inviting Devin back. But Singleton Game Calls.
You gotta have feelings to hurt them.
That's it. Doing things a little different today. We're podcasting from the new duck call counter in our new addition. We're now 80,000 square feet of retail space after our new add-on, and we're going to talk a little duck hunting, a little duck calling, and help some customers along the way.
Yeah, we're in the middle of the tent sale on a Saturday. It's busy, so we're probably getting in everybody's way podcasting here. But we're going to put Devin and Rusty to the test. They're going to have to go head-to-head when somebody walks up and wants a duck call. Echo versus Singleton.
Rusty, we'll get your thoughts on that, Echo versus Singleton.
Man, we're gonna let him have his day today. He's too close. I don't want to come down here and hurt him in his own hometown. I mean, we're gonna let him have his little moment of glory right here.
We like each other too much.
That's right. Ultimately we all on the same team. We just want more people to do it and be successful.
I don't care what they buy, as long as they happy when they leave.
And they buy it from Simmons Sporting Goods.
That's right.
All right, so talking about calls, what's new this year? What can a duck hunter look for when he's coming to buy a game call, new duck call this year?
Man, there's some cool stuff. Christian Curtis is he's coming back out with his call, similar to the old R&T Timbry. I don't know if they make it anymore. Christian's going to have calls available. They're going to be exclusively available here, right?
I think, yeah, absolutely.
Be the only place you can get them from. I think he's going to sell them $179.99. He hadn't done a produced call in a while, but he makes a great call. I redid my J-frame. We call it the dial tone.
Got an exclusive color. Simmons Sporting Goods exclusive polished ivory with a camo band.
Yep.
So talk about that, and Rusty, you too. I get people ask me, and I'm not quite call savvy enough to tell them, talk about the difference in a J-frame and a cut down, and I guess the difference in, blowing them, the amount of air it takes.
All right, so a J-frame that's your basic 90% of your duck calls. You're going to blow it just a real smooth presentation.
To preface that, the reason it's called a J-frame is like a J. So let me flip it to the camera. This goes down, over, up. So your cork notch, it makes a J. That's why it's called a J frame. Cut down's a J frame too. Honestly, the frame of the call.
Right.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
No,
you,
you're good.
Just so some people might not understand why we're calling it a J.
Right. That's it. Cut down, the soundboard's basically cut off, and you're gonna. The way you present your air is different. You know, you can bark a J-frame call, but people don't really think about it that way. But Devin, he's making them, and he's really in it, and he's making a good call. I blew him today. His J-frame's good. But the way you present your air, so in a cut down, you're going to hit short, fast bursts of air. It's kind of explosive air. To where a J-frame, I would describe it as smoother.
I agree with that. It's the cut down is more of a honestly, especially if you sit in the especially if you sit in the shop all day blowing them. It's a more harsh. The volume's more harsh. It's just a more harsh, aggressive sound. Usually, most of the guys blowing cut downs are like going after a really, really aggressive style call. Not that you can't do. I've heard Rusty call. He calls very aggressive, and you can, like I said, the bark on a regular J frame. Rusty does it as good as anybody on a breaker, and so you can make that aggressive sound. You're just going to have more volume, where on your typical J frame call, your breakers and everything else is a 1/4 inch bore, and on the it's just bigger on a cut down. Your exhaust holes, everything are bigger to make it louder. And using a standard 10 mil reed on a J frame, you're using a 14 mil reed on a cut down, and just all that beefing everything up just gives it. You know,
it takes a ton of air. I shouldn't say it takes a ton, because
it takes more air.
It takes more air for sure.
Different air for sure.
Different air for sure.
And yeah, because I know I've been blowing one of Devin's cut downs, and he tuned another cut down of mine that I had for me. And I've always blown a J frame, and I got used to it. And then when the dial tone came out, she gave me a dial tone, and I had to learn how to blow a J frame call again after blowing a cut down for a while.
And just to back
and you didn't
up
pick
on,
the cut down back up either.
No, you don't have a headache anymore after blowing it.
You ain't got to. You can be a man. It's like people talking about working out.
It ain't about being a man. It's about being smart.
Yeah, if you're bench pressing something and you can't get it back up, instead of rolling it out or anything else, what you do is you just push it back up and rack it. So that's the best way to get out from under it. Be a man. But
has anybody ever been knocked out live on a podcast?
Hey, he's in the tallest chair now, so he
He
thinks
is. He's in a tall. We put him in a tall chair, so he's the same head level with everybody.
That's right.
And he wants to get cocky and
That's
big.
right. But the cool, talking about a cool new thing across the board, duck calling is, I've never been coming to the store since I was a kid, never been able to blow duck calls in this store. This year, it's a new thing we're trying in the new addition to the store. You know, move the call counter. The call counter here looks awesome. You can try calls out in the store. We're disinfecting everything. So it's really cool to be able to come and do that here now.
Absolutely.
To be able to blow calls in the store. We're thankful for Lindsay, Jeff, and Hunter, and you, everybody letting us do that inside, because it's a cool thing.
And it's been effective.
Yeah. Come by. I mean, literally anything in this case you can pick up, blow, try it out if you like it. That way you know when you leave with it.
Something else, just to kind of close on the J-frame versus a cut down. It's really kind of a cool dynamic. If everybody usually got their little group of guys. My brother blows a little old double reed echo. I blow a breaker, and I'm louder, and then he's the really smooth and real soft. So really, you know, if a guy's blowing a cut down style like Devin's, or which he makes a J-frame as well, but if you got somebody else in the group chiming in a little softer, a little smoother, sound like multiple ducks, and it complement each other. It really works well.
Back when we used to run public land a lot, there'd be about 8 of us, and there wouldn't be one call that was the same in the whole bunch. Everybody was blowing something different, down from a $12 old Buck Gardner rich in tone keg gut double reed all the way up to, you know, one guy blew a poly, the old green, one of the first polys that Echo ever made, the full poly double reed, and all the way up to PSOs.
We could go on duck calling, but ultimately the sound is important, but the timing. So if everybody in your group knows the timing deal of it, it's going to be deadly.
Don't turn my ducks too early.
Don't turn my ducks
He'll
too
fuss
early.
at you.
I will.
Tell us about that. Like, you know,
Oh,
I'd like to hear, how you hunt, call them, how you in the woods, how
well,
you call them
what
in the
Beck's
rice
talking
fields.
about is one of my best friends that hunts with me some and helps me there at the Coca Cola Woods. He grew up hunting public ground. That's all he's ever hunted. So, you got guys set up close to you most days. So you've got to keep your ducks tighter. You don't want them circling over somebody else and them stealing your ducks or tree-topping your ducks or whatever. So anyway, first time we're hunting, we got guys, and I'm letting my ducks go. Like, I've hunted those woods my whole life, so, like, I know the exact tree I want them to go past before I hit them on that last note to finish them. And, like, they didn't even hardly get past the hole, and he hit them and turned them, and I looked over at him. I didn't say nothing. I went back to feed calling. They turned, come back, and I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to let them go this time. And he hits them again, and I'm like, dude, what are you doing?
He had to go tell him this is my fire hydrant.
Yeah, I was like,
go find a different one.
You go
I mean,
somebody else.
don't be turning my ducks, but what it was, he's just used to hunting public ground, and you got to work them tighter. Where with me, I can save a bunch of passes by letting them make one long turn, let them get out there just like an airplane. Let him go out there, get him plenty of room, and hit them, and then they find that last approach, and they glide in. But again, it was just a different style. It's just something he's had to do growing up hunting public ground, and again, much respect for all you public guys out there. That's a grind. I have so much respect for you. I am spoiled, but I like being spoiled.
Me too. I got a rule. These guys talk about getting up at 1 and midnight, and I got a rule about getting up before 4 o'clock in the morning. If I got to get up before 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm just not going to go. I'm not doing it. So,
I'd have missed out on a lot of good times.
I guarantee it.
These two,
I respect it though.
these two here will go sleep in the boat if they need to.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
I won't say not anymore. If that
Yeah, I won't say not
opportunity
anymore, but I
presents
don't do
itself.
I don't look forward to doing that anymore.
I slept in the back of the truck at the private under the long shed before, man. I'm telling you, I won't be left.
Last year, yep. He drove from Colorado 14, 15 hours. I picked him up, knocked on the window, woke him up.
Yeah, I was sleeping
Hunting private.
under the camper shell. I had a sleeping bag back there. Just rolled it out. Slept for about 45 minutes, and he knocked on my window. I don't know. It was one time we were running pretty good. I stayed up about 48, 49 straight.
I stayed up a long time.
Did you ever put him in the backpack on your back, like carry him in with just
I
his head
wished he
poked out?
would have.
No.
I would have. I would carried me on his chest.
Put him in the dog box in the bed of the side by
I
side.
have done that. He has put me in the dog box to hunt
Yeah, I did.
because the whole pit was so full of water we couldn't get in.
Adcock.
Yeah.
No, it was
We
short.
live.
We're live.
Brad,
Here
we
we
live.
got
Short stuff.
This is Brad.
Brad Shore.
All the things.
Brad Shore with
Brad Short.
Element
Brad's leaving.
Expedition.
Love you, man.
Showed up late and leaving early.
See you. Good to see you.
Good to see you, Brad. Take care of yourself.
Be careful.
Safe travels.
Be careful.
Hey,
See you, Brad.
I'll tell you, I'm glad you got to see me. For real.
Hey, will you
I'm
take
glad you got to see him.
Brad? Will you take? Won't you take him with you?
Hey,
Take Devin with you, please.
hey.
selling some calls.
It's getting deep, getting deep. So, Rusty, I know you've been affiliated with Echo for a long time. Did you grow up blowing an Echo? What was your first duck call you started
First
blowing?
duck call I ever blew, my uncle, who was the manager of the Coca Cola Woods for 40 years before he passed, he gave me a Haydale's DR85.
That's what I think
yeah.
everybody's, darn near everybody's first duck call. They ought to own one once in their life.
I mean, they were like
Absolutely.
$9 or $10 at the little hardware store in town.
Yeah.
But dude, I can remember as a kid, you couldn't, when my uncle was blowing one of those, it sounded like an old hen out there in the woods. I mean,
Yeah.
and he taught me, the first ducks I ever called in myself, I think I was in the 5th grade. We had shot a duck. My uncle went out to pick it up. And I had his old lab I was on the dog stand with the dog because I had heel boots on. That's all I had. 2 big old drakes come over, and I hit them the best I knew how. And my feed call was, I'd grunt. It was horrible. But that's all I could do.
Work.
They made one turn, give it up, and I killed both of them, pow. And then I sent his dog, and I look over to the side, and Harvey, my uncle, he's peeking around the tree, and I swear, man, you could see the grin on his face
He proud as he be.
that was huge.
You say you
yeah.
were 5?
No, I was 9,
Okay.
9 or 10, something
What
like
about you,
that.
Buck? What was your first one?
No, DR85.
DR85.
100%.
You too, Devin?
I don't remember.
Mine was a
I had-
Haydale's Red Legs.
I had a that's what
Yeah.
my next
I had
one.
a
Say
red leg. It
leg
used
and
to
a
be green.
DR85. Those
Yeah,
are
I
the
think
two.
that might have
They
been
used
my
to be
personal
green.
red
I had
legs.
it was a duck commander call. It was a triple reed. Yeah,
Triple
I
threat.
remember. Yeah,
Triple threat.
absolutely. Like,
Hey, I know for a fact my
just
first
took
one
very
ever
little. It was really was a
That's
good
what
call to
my
learn
first one was
because it didn't take hardly anything.
was a duck commander. My grandfather bought it for me. We went and watched Phil speak, and one of his the deals he used to do. There's a fish restaurant in Spearsville, Hollis. He was there, and presented the gospel, everything else. It was awesome. And then he was selling some duck calls, and my grandfather bought me one that was signed. And where it's at right now, I don't know. Because I was just rough on stuff. But I remember that was the first call I ever got. I was a little guy.
You ain't rough on anything.
So I blew that DR85, like I said, for a while, and then I bought a Big Guy's Best, one of the old
Great
Mike
call.
Keller. Well, he used, and I didn't know it, but he was using the Echo insert.
Yeah, I had one. Big Guy's Best double reed.
Yep, polycarbonate insert, like we still sell.
Coca Cola barrel.
Yep, and I back when we did, I think it was Timber Heat 2, was the first time I ever hunted with Rick Dunn, and hunted with him, and he said, well, that's, he gave me a couple more poly calls, and he said, I blew them, and I said, I want to learn to blow a single reed call, because everybody was, you could tell that's where you need to be. So I went to Rick's shop, and he built me a single reed, and it was a slow process, and I finally learned to blow a single reed, and from that point on, I just learned and did the competition calling for a while with Echo, but yeah, Rick Dunn taught me how to blow. My uncle taught me how to call ducks. My brother taught me how to call ducks, but Rick Dunn taught me how to blow a duck call, and
He's a good one at it too.
he's a good one. He's a good one.
Our good buddy Matt Garrett used to come to a lot of those Echo calling classes. And stuff. He
Yep.
blows a boss in the pit mine still today.
Really?
He blows the Echo boss, but he got the air. He can do it.
Yeah, he's big enough. He could blow one.
Yeah, that's right.
Come by Simmons Sporting Goods and check out the new A5 semi-auto shotguns from Browning, the best there is. Now back to the Simmons Sporting Goods All Things Hunting podcast.
Well, I know Josh Bandit's got some. We're talking about brand new stuff, but Bandit's got some brand new stuff out that looks pretty tempting.
Yeah, so we do have a new line, and you've heard a lot of buzz about it in July, but it's not necessarily new. We did have it out in 2020. It came out in the very end. We just soft launched it. We blew it up in the month of July to get a lot of buzz going before our product shipped into the stores this year for 2021. And it's the Aspire line. It's with Event fabric. And Chris Huckabee's just sitting down with us, and he actually wears the Aspire, so he can vouch for it here in a minute.
Turn around and say hello.
It is the most breathable, waterproof fabric there is in the world. It's no gimmicks. It's this, it's that. It's been proven in a lab. It's been proven in the field. We have a brand new display up here that displays it very nicely. It's,
the other industry leading fabric
with the other
side by side.
Yeah, and there's a lot of good fabrics out there. I'm not saying this is the only one you can go use, and there's tons of new fabrics, and it's about what you like. But we've tried to find a happy medium with what breathes. We sweat. People talk, I sweat so much I get cold. Well, this is breathing, and it's allowing the vapors to leave the fabric in the jacket or the wader or the mid-layer piece you're wearing. And, it works. There's no doubt about it. It works. I'm a firm believer. I sweat. I wear uninsulated everything. I put that jacket on, and I can wear a Primaloft Gold Liner, which I've never wore 3-in-1 of our jacket, and I have every one we make in a closet at my house, and I've never wore one because I just sweat. And I put that Aspire jacket on, and I was sitting with piles in Missouri, and it was, 35, 40 degrees. I was sitting in the blind, and I was sitting there sweating, but I never got cold, and I took it off. My shirt's dry, my jacket's dry on the inside, where if I wore something before, just a shell jacket, my shirt would be soaking wet from sweat. And it's not breathing.
And it's crazy light with the Primaloft
And
Gold.
there's
You said something about
right,
it. The
it's
Primaloft
crazy
Gold
light.
is so light.
And there's some other fabrics out there that do breathe. They just don't breathe to keep up with what your body's putting out vapor under your jacket.
Good.
So we're super excited about that, and it's expensive. It's a quality high line item that it's not for everybody, but if you want to get into something that is on the up and up in technology, up and up in the way it operates and durability, it's a good piece to look
It's
at.
as good as money can buy in the waterfowl industry right now.
And then we move into the insulation that we use in the Aspire line and the boots of the Aspire waders, and it's Primaloft. Primaloft makes a lot of different insulation types. They make them all different levels. So in the Aspire, we do use a Primaloft Gold, which is the highest line insulation they make. There's only one other jacket in the hunting industry that we're aware of right now, or whenever we did this in 2020, that was using gold, and that was a Kuya jacket. It's very light. I was telling Rusty, you can take the Primaloft Gold, put it in your hand, and if you close your eyes, it doesn't weigh anything, so you don't know what hand it's in.
Yeah.
But you can feel the heat, and I took that jacket right down there, and I told Rusty, just rub it together 3 or 4 times, and you can immediately feel the heat.
Oh yeah.
And it's new. Technology is changing every day, and that's what we were talking about earlier on. Companies don't bash another company because they're doing this or they're doing this, and you like this or you like this. Rusty likes Frog Talks. I wear Bandit. I sell Bandit, and we can have a normal conversation about our products. We may be helping each other, don't even know it. But it's all these products are nice products that wouldn't be in here.
Yeah.
Come by Simmons Sporting Goods and check out the new models of the X-Bolt rifle from Browning. The best there is. Now back to the Simmons Sporting Goods All Things Hunting Podcast.
Like Rusty said earlier, he said it good. At the end of the day, we all on the same team.
That's right.
We wear different stuff. We represent different stuff. I wear Browning and shoot Browning. Devin's Bandit, Singleton Game Calls. Rusty's with Frog Talks, and Echo Game Calls. So, but this industry is so special that because it's so close knit. It's a lot more close knit than you believe. And if you get somebody comes in here and becomes a bad apple, they're gonna get run out of it.
Yeah,
That's
just
right.
being Rusty, I would say over the last year we probably become pretty close. We talk once or twice a week now, and probably at least every one of our conversations at some point we talk about loyalty. And he's with Frog Talks, I'm with Bandit. I work for Bandit. I don't push Bandit onto him. He doesn't push Frog Talk onto me, and we can have a conversation about our products and what's selling and what's good and what's not, and what's going on in the industry without ever trying to say, hey man, I'll give you this.
Just
if you
since
come
we've
do
been
this.
sitting here doing this, that has walked by this camera, you got one of the head guys for Nat Gear that's walked in front of this camera. One of the sales reps for Numa Outdoors has walked by here. This just walked by this camera, so we all run into one another.
Absolutely.
So it is close knit. We see each other at these things, and
Well,
honestly, it's
back
probably
there
way
at the-
more
at the
friendly
gun-
than what people
We've
think.
got some guys helping us at the gun counter that sell, my Benelli guys here, my Rete guys here, my Swarovski guys here, my Night Force guys here, and they all know the industry, and they're all on the same team. They're here to help. So if somebody walks up to my Rete rep and says, hey, I want to look at a Benelli, he'll grab it and show it to him.
Well, I
'cause
think
that's what it's all about.
I think if anything we've learned in the last 6 or 8 months is we got a whole lot of people against our lifestyle, and so many that we cannot afford to fight amongst ourselves. We really got to be on the same page. We're all on the same team. Now, we've got the people we're loyal to, but ultimately we can't allow everyone against us to team up on us, because once they want us to fight amongst ourselves, and once we start that, they're winning.
Absolutely.
Talk about bad apples. I made that comment, but I see a lot now. And everybody at this counter is real good on social media about posting the stuff that they love to do, posting stuff that is the reason why I followed you in the first place. You still are on that, that path, that you're still doing what you love. You're not letting, some organization come in and have you post politics or push some narrative that you see a lot of influencers going on. And so I appreciate that from all y'all. That I want to follow y'all and see duck hunting and stuff. I don't care about y'all status on the vaccine or what's going on in the presidential race. And you see a lot of these influencers now, and I'll do air quotes, that started off hunting. There's other they're getting some outside influence and using their social media to push other platforms, and it's just, it's kind of shame on them in my eyes.
Right.
Absolutely. And you said everybody at this counter. It's a good thing Cole's buried in duck blinds because we have to remind him that he does.
Cole
have
is not. Yeah, we have to remind him he has a
Instagram,
social media.
so-
Have to remind him he has a phone. Like, hey, that thing in your pocket when it vibrates or
Yeah.
makes noise, there's a green button on it. You can
But
hit
no,
that
I
and
agree
answer.
with Kyle 100%. We all post stuff about what we enjoy doing and being outside. And
Yeah, I'm fixing to start using that unfollow button as a weapon. That all these people that have these following that are, just posting stuff that it's not what we want to care to see. I'm gonna start unfollowing them.
And another one.
Oh, turkey slayer.
Yeah, what's
Turkey season for the ages. Come on. Hey, I'm going with you. I just want a little bit of your hair.
Hey, and it goes back to, like you said, they got an agenda, but, and then as far as talking about unfollowing it, it ain't worth it.
See, man.
It ain't worth it to get in a peeing match with somebody on social media. Just,
That's right.
Just
The
block them.
keyboard warrior.
Yeah, be done with it.
That's
Block
exactly
them.
right.
Just know that I'm gonna tell you, they didn't have Leon Creasey as a daddy saying, "Boy, if you can't say something nice, don't say nothing at all."
That's it.
And it is that simple.
That's it. And if you do have a problem, somebody say it face to face, not behind a keyboard
yeah.
or through a text message or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yep.
It's a lot of room for interpretation behind a keyboard and text.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No accountability anymore.
No.
You don't get busted in the mouth for being a smart aleck like we did when I was younger. It's just the way it is.
Rusty, what's the Coca Cola Woods look like right now?
Oh, obviously hot like the rest of it. We got a cold snap coming up this next week. I say cold, cool front coming in. Yeah,
95, it'll be cool.
that's right. No, they're talking about lows in the 60s, highs in the low 80s. We got our good rice crop this year. It was a wet spring. Man, we were blessed. We were in the little old area of the state that didn't get pounded with 8, 10, or 20 inches of rain like some people did. So the crops in the woods look good. The crops in the fields adjacent look good. We just, barring a disaster, the farmers ought to make a really, really good crop, and I should make a good crop in the woods for the ducks, and I'm excited for it.
So there's a lot of Arkansas, a lot of farmers up there that did get their crops totally destroyed, and there's a lot of crops that weren't replanted, after that, and they're still dealing with insurance claims and all that, and ultimately that's a lot of duck food that's usually planted that's not going to be. You think that could affect us along the way?
I don't know. I kind of look at that a different way. Depending on if they work their ground. If they work their ground and it's smooth dirt, all right, yeah, there's not a lot right there. But now, let's just say that doesn't make a crop, but maybe we get some of this natural vegetation
Absolutely.
come up. That could be big because these machines now, farming for one, the machines are so efficient of
Sure.
harvesting that there's not a lot of
Not much
grain
left.
left. And everything's harvested so early that it has time to sprout
Yeah.
after a rain or something. So all your duck food sprouted, and now you're left with nothing.
Or they
So-
have time to work up the ground that looks
Right.
like this concrete right here.
That's-
Get done.
That's what
exactly
we run
right.
into
That's
more
what's
and
been
more in this
happening
part
down
of the
here,
country.
especially last year. We had a lot
Because
of,
we've talked about this
It dries
before.
up.
It's a farm first that allows duck hunting. The
100%.
majority
Remember
of these
beans, the price they're getting this year? I'm telling you, there's
you don't want to leave a bushel of beans
no,
out there.
heck no.
I just left farm and saw more corn than I've ever seen.
and I heard, I don't know
Where
how
at?
true it is. Me and Rusty rode into the
much
Delta
more?
around Marouge this morning, just riding and looking, showing him different part of the country, and there's less rice, I've heard, in
Well,
the
there
Delta
is.
than there's been in 30
There
years.
is. Production cost on rice is pretty high, and it's a very Rusty knows, it's a very labor-intensive crop.
Water on, water off.
Exactly, where when you can plant soybeans on the same ground and make a good crop at the price they are this year, it cash flows better. It costs less to produce it. It's less labor intensive. I mean, 530.
Only thing happening around here is
Five-
organic rice, right? I don't know.
No,
Not all
not
of it.
necessarily. No, there's still a good bit of others, but
Did y'all plant any rice?
no, we planted soybeans. No, I'd rather be about 5:30. I'd rather be standing by the grill with a cold beer than in a rice field and a shovel.
I'll kill him with that.
That ain't no lie. Yeah, the beans. I mean, basically, you plant your beans, get your ground ready, plant your beans.
Get them laid by.
You
Get some poly pipe out.
Yeah, you get a stand, you spray them, you run your poly pipe. They get once they canopy and lap over, you watch them for rust and for worms. Like you said, get your holes knocked in your poly pipe. It's pretty
Get
easy.
some range. You don't even have to go out there and mess with the
Tell
poly
us
pipe.
about the army worms. How bad are they right now?
Hey, the armyworms are wicked this year.
Armyworms, they've been in rice that was starting to head out, and it looked like you took a bush hog about a foot off the ground. It just sawed the plant off, and I had to even have them spray them in our woods. It's been bad. I saw an 80-acre bean field, a picture of it, and all it was just little old stems about an inch or two tall that they had just got down. And I got buddies that got pasture ground, got cattle and bale hay, and they're spraying them just like crazy. I mean, they showed up in full force.
If you plant any millet for ducks,
For sure.
check it every day. I had a little spot last year that millet came up and was looking good, and we were excited about it. And I come back a week later and it was gone.
Like bare dirt.
Yeah, yeah. It looked like somebody had pulled all their plant up. There was nothing left.
Gosh,
I mean, from
Ain't bad. I rode through our farm the other day, and I could see some on the plants, but I don't know if they had sprayed. I sent them a text and said, "You got army worms," But
Yeah.
I'm sure they know. They're checking it every day, just like every other farmer is.
I don't know what it is about this year, but I've heard that in every crops, and of course we raise a lot of cattle, and with hay, they'll eat that down to the ground. Your pasture, your
That Bermuda grass.
absolutely, they love it, and we've been spraying for usually with the hay fields. It's later in the year before they get bad when all the other crops shut down. And all we've been spraying for a month already.
All right. And with hay, are you able to spray anything with residual, or does it have to be a kill?
No, yeah, you can spray with residual. There's most like Warrior and some of your I forget what Warrior.
This is like karate.
That's
Warrior's a
what
lot like
Warrior
karate.
is. Warrior is karate. It's just a different
It takes
brand.
it's a different rate.
So
Oh,
you
I
can't spray
think it-
Arsenal.
No, you can't
God.
spray Arsenal.
sterilized the ground.
Nor
He
would you want
sprayed
to spray any
some
Arsenal.
Arsenal at my house one time, and where he was filling up the pump up sprayer, it overflowed because it wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, the ground's
This
still
was
bare,
6
isn't it?
years ago.
Still no dirt.
There's still dirt. I had to
Nicked it.
bring in topsoil this year and put sod on top.
And it
of
won't grow either.
The sod is doing good now, but it was bare dirt.
It'll
Like
die.
I went out there, break it up. It turned as hard as this glass. You couldn't grow anything on it. Killed every tree on my pond dam. Had a big old beautiful beech tree hanging over my pond. He just barely hit it, dead. I'm
So
telling you,
you're
you go to
saying
mess
Beck
with
ever
Arsenal.
offers to do some spraying
He
for
no,
you,
he
just
he
pass
he
on it?
drove.
I
He
didn't
said
want the
spray
tree
everything.
dead.
He said spray everything. I said it's gonna run off and you're gonna lose a lot of
It
stuff.
killed everything. I think it killed my fish. I mean, I didn't kill the fish, obviously, but it killed everything.
So that's
Killed the dirt.
That's a good point to some of these guys that didn't plant, and if they don't work it up and slick it off, and some of that native grass grows in there, and that'd be good.
And it gives you opportunity if you're out there listening and you've got a lease that didn't get planted. If the farmer will let you go in there and plant you some millet,
Absolutely.
that creates a really good opportunity. Normally you've got to wait on them. Well, if they don't get it planted, man, if he'll let you go in there and plant you some millet patches. And,
Do you plant any millet? Coca Cola
Not
Woods?
unless I have like a couple years ago, I lost my corn. I got some corn patches in my rest fields outside of the woods, and it flooded, and I lost some couple acres. So I come in there, and where my corn didn't make and where it died, I planted millet and kind of filled in.
And if you've never planted millet before, it's kind of like growing barnyard grass. I mean, you get it out there. The way I plant it is we go where we're gonna plant it about 2 to 3 weeks before and spray Roundup, and let the grass die, and then come back behind it and spread the millet right on. We never break the ground up or anything.
Let it rain it in.
Let it rain it in, and that all that dead grass will come kind of on top of it and make a little seed bed, and we always make really good results with it, doing it like that.
If you got early beans, I've heard of people also right before the leaves on the beans fall, fly that millet in the middle of those
Yep.
beans, and does the same thing that you're talking about.
Yep, you can do it like that too.
So you fly it in there before you even harvest the beans?
Yep.
Yeah.
Really? I've
So
never
then-
heard that. That's a
once
cool idea.
So you fly it in there, and then you defoliate your beans, and then once you combine goes over the top of it, and the trash spreaders in the back spread all the stalks and everything
comes
on
up through
top,
that.
and then it comes up through that really good.
I've even heard of people, the millet will be fairly tall. and they cut their beans, and it basically just cuts the millet
So when
off.
they spray those beans,
reseeds it?
Yeah, it's running mower over. No, it ain't seeded yet.
So
And
they
then-
keep growing.
Yeah, so basically it's like mowing your yard. You cut the top off the grass, the millet just keeps growing. So kind of give it a
so
haircut.
when you spray to kill the leaves, take the leaves off of it, it doesn't hurt it any.
Mm-mm.
Well, no, because your seed's not. I mean, you spread your seed before you spray, and it's probably not even sprouted yet. It's probably just laying there.
That's
So,
fascinating.
Where there's a will, there's a way.
absolutely.
How far north y'all hunting this year?
I'm going duck hunting?
Yeah.
I'm going all the way to North Dakota. I'm not doing Canada this year. Just I got so much other stuff planned and everything else.
How many hunting trips you got planned? You know, when you don't have a job like Devin, you can just.
I got a job. I got the best job a man has ever had, and I'm thankful for it. I got 2 big game hunting trips and at least 1 duck hunting trip planned. It's liable to be other stuff. I'm gonna go hunt Coca Cola Woods this year. They don't know it yet, but
You're just gonna show up.
Hey, me and
That's
Devin,
good.
that's the one morning we may get up early. We'll beat them to the
Hell, I
hole.
may get up before 4 o'clock.
Beat 'em
We
to
no,
the
don't
you
hole.
do
can't
that.
go early. That's where you
Yeah.
mess up. You don't go early.
Gotta
You
go
go
in the
late.
afternoon.
You go late.
Going afternoon.
Midday. Midday.
Yeah.
You could probably actually go at
Sit off to the
7:30.
side
That'd
with
be
binos and
gone.
watch-
Yeah,
watch
they out
us.
of there. They out of there by 7:30.
That's
Look,
right.
they bow hunt it first opening day.
I'm
We
going
gonna
in
bow
there
hunt it every afternoon.
That's right.
Oh,
Oh,
I was gonna say, talking about going how far north we're gonna go. I'm gonna hunt however far that north hole we hunt in the woods is. That's about as far north as I'm gonna go.
What about any other hunting trips? You got any planned this fall?
He don't
No.
have time.
Nebraska. If I get invited by my good old buddy Andy Morgan, Andy, if you happen to listen to this, please call. He goes to Nebraska and the Platte River Bottoms for whitetail bow hunting, and
Okay.
that is a treat, man.
I bet.
I love to bow hunt deer, and growing up in Arkansas, deer hunting in Arkansas is tough, especially with a bow. So man, you get to invite like that. I mean, it's like the Coca Cola Woods of the deer world. It's a really cool invite.
I'm turning into a regular, average, everyday Fred Berry here lately. So
I saw that a while ago when you
With the
cut
bo-
yourself
oh,
when you
yeah.
picked your
He
bow up.
picked his bow
Did
up
do
to
that.
show it to Rusty and cut his hand.
cut my hand.
Yeah, you
had to super glue it shut.
You're an
kinda.
expert.
Now, I remember the first time I held a bow. I mean,
Yeah, it happened. It happened. I can't deny it. It happened just like that. Like literally picked it up, sliced her wide open.
What about you, Buck? You going anywhere? Any hunting trips planned?
I may go up to North Dakota with a couple people with Bandit. I was going to Canada, obviously. Not going there now for other reasons, but other than that, I'll be right here in Arkansas and Louisiana.
I can't afford to get held up 14 days. Worst case, I
Absolutely
mean,
not.
you got. I mean, look at who was the baseball team? The college baseball team.
NC State?
Yeah, those guys. I mean, you talking about primed up athletes feeling good, playing ball, tested positive. I mean, you go up there, test positive, you
right.
sit for 14 days in a hotel in Canada. That is what I can't afford to
Yeah,
do.
no.
Nothing
absolutely
else
not.
about it scares me. It's just I can't afford to accidentally
stuck
get.
somewhere.
Yeah, I can't afford to be stuck.
and they're going to do that to you with or without the shot, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Even if you've had the vaccine, you have to test positive.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
not-
correct.
I'm
You
not
gotta
100%
Yeah, 'cause a lot of
I
that
don't-
baseball
Quarantine.
team, a lot of that baseball team that tested positive had been vaccinated.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Kyle? How many states you gonna hunt this fall?
All of them.
I'd love to hunt all of them. That'd be awesome, but no. North Dakota, we're going to hunt there for ducks, and then after that, it'll probably just be, the normal Louisiana, Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas. We give them a pretty good run in Texas and Oklahoma when they're there. But and we're going to whitetail hunt Texas, whitetail hunt Oklahoma, Louisiana. I'm going on an all-dad hunt down near the Mexico border up in the mountains, a poor man's sheep hunt.
Oh, that's what rich
And,
people do.
And so I'm excited about that. Reach out there and shoot one with a rifle about 300 or 400 yards
Yeah.
from
You see,
mountaintop
he
to
wore
mountaintop.
Crocs today. He come in here
Hey.
yesterday with some black gator skins on.
Hey, I got them in 4-wheel drive too because I've been sinking duck blinds in these Crocs. this
Yeah,
morning.
that's why you don't have on your gators
Well,
today.
he
We
couldn't
made
have
fun
his
of him
gator
yesterday
skins.
about being rich, and he had to kind of try to tame
Yeah,
it down
that's
today.
right.
I know how it works.
He went out there, rolled around a little bit to make it look
Yeah.
dirty. Cole's out there working
How
his
cold.
butt
I
off.
can't imagine what Cole looks like right now.
It's pretty rough.
I bet it's awful. Or he smells like what he smells
Yeah.
like right now.
So I guess
Hi, how are y'all?
for me, as far as duck hunting goes, I'll be around here and deer hunting. may go to Oklahoma during muzzleloader season with Kyle, shoot one of his.
2.5-year-old deer. There's one gone right there.
No,
out there and get
I'm
one.
not going to do like Devin and drive 3 days to shoot a 2.5-year-old deer. We're gonna wait on him.
Still ain't hurt my feelings.
I'm
I got him on the wall.
I'm still interested in going up mule deer hunt with you, so don't forget about it.
They sell tags go on sale Tuesday, August 2nd.
Big fork and horn mule deer.
A non-typical 2x3,
2x4.
2x4.
Yeah.
Still
Six print.
Those have come down in the lumber yard too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen to podcast 8, 2 podcasts ago for that story
Yeah.
of Devin and his magnificent mule deer.
I tell you, you'll learn something. I'm not saying you will learn what to do, but definitely learn what not to do.
Good gear, bad gear gets you killed, won't it?
Dang right. Yeah. Don't try to save money on gear on a western hunt.
No.
Cheap gear get you killed.
I would say don't do that in general on a hunt.
Period.
You know?
Yeah.
No,
If you're going out there where the weather can change real fast, cheap gear get you killed.
look, that's hunting what we love to do, and obviously we're all affiliated with the industry, but buy the absolute best gear you can afford
That's
because
right.
you'll appreciate it more. I mean, whether it's optics, gun, footwear, clothing, whatever, it makes your hunt way more enjoyable to have some.
Everybody talks about the good old days of ducks and blackening
Yeah.
the sky and, you can't see the sun. That might have been the good old days of duck hunting, but the good old days of duck technology and material and clothes, it's right now.
Absolutely.
Right
Getting
now.
better every year.
I mean, you take a flashlight. You had to carry a dang mag light that looked like a baseball
That
bat.
long.
That
That's what you use that little piece of material inside of your cargo pants. Drop that mag light in.
exactly.
Now you got a light that
you
weighs
got-
nothing.
Yeah, that's the only problem with
Hashtag
that is
Barebone
how I
Outdoors.
can't keep up with them. I can't. Kyle was supposed to send me a barebone light.
You need to be that guy that shows up with a hat with the light
in.
built into it.
They got,
I got a beanie with a light
They
built
do
into
those
it. That's the only way I can keep up with a light during duck season. Is the guy
Hey.
who built into my beanie.
Hashtag elite waders. Got a light bar built into the front of them.
that's right.
right.
And the Aspire do too. So
Yeah,
There
the
you go.
worst wader, the worst coat that is out right now, no matter the brand, is better than the best one of 20 years ago, I promise you.
100%. 100%. I remember being a kid. My dad and my uncle would be in there with old bicycle tire patches, patching them old Hodgson and waders.
My
Heating them
daddy,
up.
my daddy
Yeah.
always had a saying about the good old days because he grew up picking cotton and working. I mean,
Absolutely.
working like a dog. He said, "Let me tell you something about the good old days. Only thing good about them days is that they're gone."
Yeah.
That's good stuff. We're gonna take a quick break. I'm gonna let these guys wrap it up. I'm surprised I've been left over here this long. We all what's going on at the gun counter. I'm gonna get back to my real job before I lose my real job. I had to go to work for Devin.
Phew. Be a
Probably
disaster.
I don't
He
think.
needs somebody to stuff cork down in them soundboards.
Man,
I don't know. If
He'd
that
have
don't sound like
everything
it
tore up.
pays very well.
he had everything.
Yeah,
Look,
I'm gonna tell you.
ask my kids.
I
it
got a
don't
lot
pay
of
that great.
respect for anybody that makes duck calls because I do not have the patience nor the finesse for something like that.
And once you get in a groove, once you get in a rhythm, it's like anything else. Just jam.
Just jam.
Just jam.
Right on. We'll take a break.
All right, we'll see y'all back here in a little bit.
Come by Simmons Sporting Goods and check out the new A5 semi-auto shotguns from Browning, the best there is. Now back to the Simmons Sporting Goods All Things Hunting podcast.
The worst thing you can do to promote your product is bash somebody else.
that's correct. Yeah.
I was gonna bring that up.
It polarizes you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Once you cross that line of bashing somebody else, you're polarized from, so it's like I had an old boss tell me one time, never step on the toes of the feet that might be connected to the rear end.
Yeah.
You need to kiss one day.
That's right.
Hey, and he was just an
And it's
old
just-
school, and that's true.
It's
I
just
mean,
it's just like we tell our kids, okay, let's just say your little girl or your son comes home and they said, well, so-and-so said this about me. Well, they're saying that to make them feel better about themselves.
Right.
It's nothing against you. They're saying this to try to make themselves look good or feel good, which is at the end of the day, it falls back on them, you know. So, you know, that's why they make more than one brand. That's why they make more than one camo pattern.
Absolutely.
It's to fit what people want out of something and what they like and what they can afford.
Yep.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I was gonna say I respect how you were talking about the other competitors in the store just then. There's no bad blood,
Yeah,
no
no.
nothing, and
There's no room for animosity.
Now, if
There's
everybody
really
that
not.
walked in here, yeah, I want them to buy Bandit, 100%. That's what I sell, and that's how I make a living. But if everything in the store doesn't sell, Simmons isn't here, our other retail partners aren't here, and if they ain't here, then we're not here. And that's kind of how I see it. And every sale I go to, you know, if you want to put on a Frog Talk waiter, or a Drake waiter, or a Sitka waiter, I'll get it for you. I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
Because
Won't even
that's
try to
what
talk you
like.
out of it.
I won't talk you out of it. I mean, and if you approach me and ask me, what are the difference? I'll tell you the differences. The decision's on you, not on me.
yeah, that's right. I've seen recently on social media some reputable advertisers talking bad about the company that they were not trying to push. You know, saying that they used a product last year and didn't do good, and this one's so much better, blah blah blah, and this product wasn't even out on the market yet, and it just, you know, I shake my head like you're gonna promote yourself right out of the industry real quick, doing stuff like that. So but,
That's
you
kind
know,
of where we just bite our tongue and let our products speak for themselves. You know,
Yeah, there's tons of knowledgeable people. Like Rusty, I feel confident that Rusty could tell you a lot of different things about several different waders and clothing companies. I know Josh can, you know, and if you're going to tell somebody, present them facts
yeah,
and not hearsay or your opinion. Present facts to people. Say this is what this is used, and then they can make their decisions on the facts. Don't say, well, in my opinion, this is better. Well, your opinion's worth about as good. I know my opinion is worth what people give for it, and that's usually nothing.
I do that.
So,
That's
so
the
run, talk to knowledgeable people. There's people out there that are just going to jump on every train they can, the new train, whatever it is. If it gets them a little bit of publicity and they can get 100 followers from it, they're going to jump on it.
yeah. There's me and Rusty talked about this just the other day.
And this is
There's
really
too
getting
many
on the
guys.
toes
There's
here.
too many guys in this industry that, and social media has played a big part of it. There's too many guys that are on there for the like button and the follow button, and they don't do it because anymore because what they like going and doing and being loyal. They do it because they want one more like or one more follow, and it is. I ain't gonna say it's messed this industry up, but there's some bad.
It makes
apples
it
out there
hard for
that-
the new guys who are good. I mean, like right now, pro staff programs are crazy. It's hard to get. Nobody wants to touch a pro staffer right now because there's so many social. I mean, social media people are jumping. Everybody wants to be one, and you're going to go to the next best thing. And I commend Rusty, probably more so than anybody I run into, because you have an opportunity to do whatever you want. But he's loyal. The people you represent are your friends, and you stay. That's the most commendable thing. That's me. He's a friend. All these guys are friends. I'm not going anywhere. They're my friends. Stick with the people who take care of you. And you just
Jeff
got
Simmons' quote is, "Dance with those who brung you."
yeah.
That's right. That's right.
What? And another thing Jeff says 100 times. He said, pigs get fed, hogs get slaughtered.
Yeah.
If you're greedy and you're just all out for the next follow, at some point in time you're gonna get fat enough. There's nowhere to go. It's time for slaughter. So,
There's a lot of things in this old world that's lost. Common sense would be one. But
That's
that's a whole nother podcast.
Yeah.
But loyalty for sure is with a lot of people. So much respect for the ones that stick with the ones that have brought you and got you to where you are. But it is you think you get so big that you forget about all that stuff, but you got to go back to your core values and what got you, what made you successful to start with, and that's just those fundamentals of what mom and daddy taught you growing up.
That's right. Talk about everything in the store has to sell. And something that's been super hot selling up front in the casual department is this man's products that
Huck
sitting down
Outdoors,
from
baby.
us, Huck Outdoors.
How are you, sir?
Just tell me a little bit about Huck Outdoors, how it got started, and
Oh wow,
what's going on now with it.
man! It's gosh, a couple of years ago after duck season, we sitting around and sitting in the living room just collecting thoughts of the season, and next thing you know, my oldest son says, "Man, we've been called Huck all of our life, and you got all these apparel brands out there that's doing something. Let's start us a brand up." I'm thinking, we can do that. We do a little hobby, see if we can give some hats and shirts away to some
Right.
of our buddies in our club and stuff like that. And next thing you know, man, it become a real deal, and it's taken off pretty solid now.
When did y'all start it?
March of 2019.
Right.
So
Your artwork designs, things on the shirt. What's who's the brains behind all
a
those?
lot of it's me.
Yeah.
The majority of it's me, the wife, kids, kind of collaborating on some ideas and what we might see that is the next trending thing that, could possibly make a nice shirt. So
Right.
we have learned on that game that you better keep coming out with something new all the time, because if you don't keep it fresh and keep it on people's minds, that, it go away. So.
Well, fellas, I appreciate all y'all being here and wish everybody a good duck season. But if you listen to this podcast, come in Simmons Sporting Goods, check out the Huck Outdoors gear up front. Come back and see the brand new waterfowl room. It's a giant room. Everything you could ever need from a lot of different brands for waterfowl hunting. Come check out the new Aspire stuff from Bandit. Come check out the brand new call counter. Got Singleton Game Calls, Echo. I think they got
R&T,
RNTs, Haydales.
Power Calls,
Yep.
Christian Curtis. We got tons of stuff.
And of
Hey,
course,
there's something that'll fit anybody. Duck Commander, we got it's all here.
That's right. And of course, they always got the wall of guns back there in the back and ammunition like nobody else in the world, I believe. So come get the ammo while it's still available. But fellas, I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Thank
See
you.
you next
Kyle.
time.
Thank you.